On this episode of Retro Car Guy 530, I'm going to check out the VXDAS SigmaProbe component activation feature. This is one of the videos in my review series of the SigmaProbe Vehicle Intelligent Circuit Tester. I was provided this free of charge by VXDAS for review purposes. Make sure you check out the other videos in this review series. So, let's get into it. Now let's check out the SigmaProbe's component activation feature. We'll check out two different types of component activations. There's the one with the component activation of the device out of the vehicle. Then there's the component activation with it in the vehicle, which I will simulate here on the test bench. And then there's a component activation where it would supply ground. That feature has been disabled in the product at this point in time. So there's only supplying positive power from the SigmaProbe at this point in time from 2.6 and above. So let's navigate to the active part here, click on OK. On the screen here we have volt DC on the top, which is being supplied through the probe tip. We have the amp draw of the component itself, and then the VCC is the power available to the SigmaProbe itself. Over here we have informational text to help you with that particular screen or menu option that you're on. And then on the bottom we have the sub functions here. We have momentary supply power through the moment activation. Then there's latch. When you press the up arrow to supply positive power, it will continue to supply power until you press the up arrow again. And then the pulse menu option gives you the ability to start the pulsing of power to the device if you wanted to pulse the device, and we'll show that in just a moment. So let's actually navigate over to the last one here, where you get to set the maximum number of amps the component can draw before the circuit breaker will trip in the SigmaProbe. Right now it's the 6 amps. It will go up to 18 amps. And right now I have the alligator clamps connected to the battery here, like you would in your vehicle. And I have the auxiliary ground connected to the ground of the particular component here, which is a headlight bulb. And then the SigmaProbe tip, which I'm using the extension, is connected to the positive lead going into the component. So this is the testing of a component out of the vehicle. And I'm going to go ahead and press the up arrow here to momentarily, while we're on the moment feature, and you'll see the bulb illuminate. And as soon as I remove my finger from the up arrow, it will actually turn off the power. And then if we move over to latch, it will start and continue to supply power until I press it again. And then with the pulse, if we go over here, it will begin a pulsing procedure here until I press it again. So that's the component activation, supplying positive power from the SigmaProbe tip to a component out of the vehicle. To make this in the vehicle, the difference would be the way the ground is set up. So let me set that up and we'll continue on. I've reconfigured the component here to be wired as if it were in the vehicle. The ground is being supplied by the connection to the battery directly. The auxiliary ground connection from the SigmaProbe has been removed. The SigmaProbe's tip is going to be supplying the positive power here, and I've got that connected over here. Typically you'd be using the alligator clips here if you're using the auxiliary ground, and then the brass pointed tip here for the top of the SigmaProbe. I'm making it a little bit easier for testing purposes using these wiring harness leads and these banana connectors here, so that's the reason I'm using these. Typically you would connect into the leads using those appropriate connectors, but it's a little bit easier for filming to do this. So we have the ground going to the battery, we have the power coming from the SigmaProbe, or there would be usually additional wiring where you would use the tip here to supply the power to the component. And we do much the same, so let's go through the moment activation, and then let's go to latch, pulse, and you can see it's taking 4, almost 5 amps here when it gets fully up and running as it's pulsing there. And to turn that off, you press the up arrow again. So that's the component activation in the vehicle. The auxiliary ground is not required in that particular case because the ground is being provided by the vehicle, and then the power is being supplied by the SigmaProbe's tip here and being provided to the positive connection into the component. Again, as a reminder, the SigmaProbe activation providing the ground is not an active feature in the device at this point in time. If you do press the down button, as it states here, it will provide ground, but it will actually give you a message stating this feature is being upgraded. So the feature is actually not functional at this point in time and was fully disabled in firmware versions 2.6 and above. To exit the component activation mode, you press the left button with a long button press, and that will exit out back to the main menu. If you found the information to be helpful in this video, make sure you hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit that bell notification to be notified when I upload new videos just like this. And thanks for coming to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.